So listen, we all have memories we love to look back on. Maybe it's your first loves, family vacation, favorite meals, but can you deliberately go out and create happy memories? Our next guest says you can.
He's here with his latest book, The Art of Making Memories, How to Create and Remember Happy Moments. Please welcome back to the show the CEO of the Happiness Research Institute and best-selling author, Meik Wiking. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So as the CEO of the Happiness Research Institute, you study happiness from a scientific perspective. So what has your research told you about the relationship between happiness and our memories?
Well, I mean, we can see that if you're able to retrieve happy memories, if you're able to look back in your past and see a positive narrative, you're also happier overall. And I think all of us would like, an unforgettable life. I think all of us would like to create memorable moments. I think all of us would like our kids to look back at their childhood and think of happy times. And that's what the book is about. And I think the main message, or the biggest aha moment for me in writing the book, was coming to an understanding that we are actually all memory architects. And we have tools and strategies where we can actually influence what we and our families and our friends remember. And I think that's really empowering.
Nostalgia plays such a big part in our happy memories, but I wonder if there's ever any kind of danger at looking back at our past through rose-colored glasses, like in our relationships, for example, or maybe beyond.
Yeah. I mean, it is a powerful tool, nostalgia. It's being used in marketing. It's being used in politics. We saw it in the Trump campaign, Make America Great Again. We saw it in the UK with Brexit, Take Back Control. So it's a really powerful instrument that makes us fall in love with the past.
Yes.
What I love about this is in the book, Meik, you say that the age range from 15 to 30 is our glory days.
Right.
And you say that, and what you mean by that, instead of maybe what we think about that, is that how prominent our memories are from that age from 15 to 30. Why that range?
So when we ask people who are 80 or 100 years old to tell us their life narrative or to share their memories with us, we can see there's a huge share of those memories situated around those years. So the period 15 to 30 is also known as the Reminiscence Bump. And in part, it's because it's our formative years, but it's also because it's those years we have a lot of first experiences. So first kiss, she was called Christy, and I was 16. But also first job, first apartment, whereas in my age, 41, first experiences are rarer. It's also why a lot of us experience that life seems to speed up as we get older. The years simply just seem to go by quicker and quicker. So one of the chapters in the book is about harnessing the power of firsts. Seeking out new experiences is one of the ways we can slow down the pace of time. And it doesn't only have to be going to some exotic tourist destination. It can also just be trying out a new food or a new ingredient that we haven't tried before.
Yeah. I want to pick up on that because the thing about nostalgia, Meik, it's remembering something that you know very well, like say, going to a cottage every summer. But you say to seek out new experiences, even experiences that might scare you to create memories. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, we remember stuff that is out of our comfort zone. So when we're scared a little bit, when we do stuff we haven't tried before. So one of my tips in the book, for instance, in this regard, that also harnesses the power first, is something I call the Apollo picnic. And you get all your phones out, and then you invite your friends on July 20th. And the concept is everybody brings an ingredient or a dish they have not tried before. So for me, it could be poutine. I've not tried that before. For you, it could be... For you, it could be Danish herring or habanero chili. And you do it on July 20th because that's the anniversary for the Apollo mission, so the moon landing. So first step on the moon, but also first taste of something. And that means every once in a while, the media is going to write about the Apollo mission, and that's going to trigger your memory of that event where you had habanero chili and poutine and so on. And our memory works through association. So building in little triggers like that is how we can become memory architects.
I love that idea. Speaking of triggering, something I wish I'd been told when I was younger was that sometimes bad experiences or embarrassing experiences can later on in hindsight turn into, actually something that's really, really quite memorable in a good way. But let's talk about those kind of bad, awkward memories. And I understand that this right here, this scenario of live television, this might be a bit triggering triggering for you? Tell us your story.
So this was 2 years ago when my last book came out. I was in London for a book tour, and I was on a morning show, very much like this, and big morning show live. They have more viewers than I have countrymen. So I'm a little bit nervous, but it's going well. And at one point, the host, Phil, he asks me, so earlier you wrote the little book of Hygge, now you've written the little book of Lykke, what are you going to write about next? And I thought his Danish was really, really good. And I thought he'd seen some of the TV dramas that have come out of Denmark in the recent years. The Bridge, The Killing, and sort of a political drama in the UK, they called it Borgen. So I thought he'd seen that. So I say, oh, well done on pronouncing Danish. You must have been watching a lot of Danish Born, which is how we pronounce it. But he heard you must have been watching a lot of Danish porn. So he started to laugh. It's live. I have no idea why they're laughing. The other host turned to him and said, what did he say? I'm afraid to ask. And that's the end of the interview. So it was completely embarrassing at the time, but it was a very memorable moment.
Yes, I'll say. I want to talk about something that you write about in the book called the emotional highlighter pen, because it's often said that we remember a lot of very bad or difficult or traumatic things, perhaps more so than we remember the good times as well. Is that actually happening in our brains?
Well, I mean, we have both good and bad memories. And I think, we shouldn't suppress our bad memories. We all have bad memories. We all have periods in our lives where we struggle, where we feel alone, where we are sad, and that's part of the human experience. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help people create more happy moments, more happy memories they can draw on and balance those negative memories out.
Mm-hmm. I journal all the time, and I actually have several journals going for different reasons. I've got one for each of my kids. One is called the Book of Blaze. The other one is called the Dose of Dash. And I kind of just write down things they say that I want to remember. You say that journaling is great, but you say when we do it, we should include our senses.
Right.
Why is that?
Because we can use all the 5 different senses to trigger our memories. So something, for example, Andy Warhol would do was he would wear the same perfume. Maybe had a boss that had a lot of perfume. So he would wear the same perfume for 3 months and then never wear that perfume again, and then switch to another one. And that meant over time he had created a museum of scent or a museum of memories. So he could say, now I want to go back to that time of the spring 1982 and then take a good whiff of that perfume and then be transported back in time and think, oh yeah, I was working for him at the time. And we can use all our memory or all our senses to travel in time.
These days, whenever we're experiencing something we want to remember, our phones are with us and we take our phone out and we sort of track it that way. But the downside to that is we need, all of us, a digital detox. We're spending too much time on our phone. So how can we, I don't know, bridge that, not have so much time on our phone and build those memories, even though we're used to documenting the memories on the phone?
Right. So in my last book, I talk about a case from Denmark where a boarding school have created a system where the kids are only allowed to use their phones 1 hour per day. So for 23 hours, they're without their phone. And after 6 months, it's put to a vote among the students. Should we continue with this system, or should everybody get their phone back? And 80% vote to keep the system in place. And I think they do that because they realize that when none of us have our phones, we actually create a connection with the people we're with. We create friendships. But I think getting to that critical mass is key for analog play. So maybe streets can come together or play groups and say on Fridays, it's no phone Friday, and we play like we used to. But there's also ways, I think there's also ways we can make better use of our phones and the pictures we do take, because I'm sure all of us take thousands and thousands of pictures each year, but we don't go through them the same way we used to back in the 80s when I was growing up.
With the photo album?
Exactly,
Yeah.
old school photo physical albums. So one of the suggestions in the book is to do what I call curating the happy 100. So as a family or by yourself, you get your phones out And then you go through your photos, and then you say, which were actually 100 happiest moments from this year? And then you get those photos printed out and put in an old school photo album. And I think it's a great exercise to do with kids. Because I think it's a good way to hear what did your kids actually think were the best moments we had this year as a family.
And you could relive those happy moments like this. Meik, this has been a great, great time. Thank you so much for doing it.